What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. This is game number 3 here between PuMa and IdrA. This time we are on the Shattered Temple. IdrA spawning in the 3 o'clock spawn location as our red Zerg player. Then over here in the 9 o'clock, we've got PuMa as the blue Terran player. Once again, this is game number 3. We're, of course, now tied up 1-1 here between these two. And well, last game was unbelievable, pretty just all over the place. You know, we saw PuMa hit so hard so early with that Hellion harass. And, you know, it was looking really, really bad for IdrA. IdrA was quite far behind early on. He was just taking such hefty economic damage. But then all of a sudden, you know, firstly he pulled out with that Roach Drop, which it did all right. It killed off a few SCVs and did a fair amount of damage, but nothing crazy. But then after that, he was just non-stop relentless, hitting with mutas, speedlings, and Roach Drops, everything at all angles. And that's how you do it. That's how you handle mech Terran. You spread them out, and they're so slow and so unresponsive as a result. It just takes them so long to get from point A to point B. It's just a fact of the matter that PuMa couldn't really quite easily defend. And you know, he did what he could in response. He pushed out with small bouts of Hellion aggression and was able to continue to do economic damage against IdrA, but it wasn't enough. And you know, you can kill off some workers with those Hellion counterattacks, but IdrA with those Roach and Muta attacks can take out bases, and that's exactly what he did, managing to drop a few command centers / orbital commands throughout the course of the game. Unfortunately, it just continued to set PuMa back. Now, PuMa eventually worked up to that big, strong army, and unfortunately was met by Brew Lords, and he did not have a proper response to that, as his Viking numbers were way too low. He didn't have a lot of Ghost, and Thors just really don't do the trick. So there you go. Just last game in a quick little summarization, as I like to do. Do you guys even like that I do that? Should I continue to do that or what? You know, in game number 1, I just kind of jibber jabber about whatever. And then any successive games, I basically like to recap the last game in the early stages of the game. But if that's just kind of like blah and you guys don't really care, let me know, and I won't do that anymore. But if it's something you like, then I'll keep it up. Alright, so IdrA did in fact go hatch first in a pool and still no gas, so just seeming like the same style of opening. It does look like PuMa himself will also be going for that same style opening. Has decided to go for 1 racks into expand. So both players apparently, at least the early stages of the game, will be doing more or less the same thing. Now we got the Marine out here. Is he going to hide that SCV? I want him to hide the SCV just to not tip off to IdrA that this expansion is coming. If IdrA doesn't, yeah, beautiful, look at that. You see PuMa hiding that SCV, so now IdrA isn't certain. He's not 100% sure that there's an expansion now. Had PuMa kept that SCV like just kind of chilling out right here, prepared to drop the Expo, then IdrA would have been 100% confirmed of an Expo. But now, IdRA's still kind of in the dark. You can see he scouted out that front wall off, but that is about it. He is not sure what's going on, so he is going to need to get some eyes over there, and it's going to be in the form of this Overlord. Now, obviously he's going to scout this out, but you know, the longer it takes, the less sure IdrA is, the more of an advantage PuMa has in getting this up and running safely without much of an issue. A couple of Zerglings trying to move out across the map, though. They do encounter these 2 Marines and are actually forced to circumvent. Now, we do have a bunker coming on through. This Marine over here actually will be joining the fray. The Zerglings, again, trying to just kind of dance around these Marines, and it does look like actually PuMa, for fear of losing the fact that his expansion is still not known to IdrA, he's going to be pulling back with his Marines to try to prevent these Zerglings from moving in. And massing up those Zerglings just to try to make sure he gets his way through. Unfortunately, though, this bunker is going to finish in time and allow those Marines to prevent these Zerglings from doing much of anything. All right, so Marines forcing them back, and the Overlord. There you go. He scouted an SCV, grabbing those resources. He's still not absolutely sure, though. It isn't until SCVs actually start routinely mining from there that he is going to be positive about an Expo being in that position. Why is he not pulling closer with that Overlord? There it is. So now he's 100% sure. Oh, there's SCVs mining here. So now he knows, okay, there's an Expo. No questions asked about that. Now, back over here for IdrA. Coming out those extractors. He's already got 1 of those bad boys saturated just now. Second extractor is coming out. 1 spine crawler just in case he deals with a wee bit of aggression. And he'll be going straight for these rocks to prepare to move into his 3rd expansion. Looks like he'll be trying to hit back there as opposed to going straight for that high yield. Probably a better decision since it's a little bit riskier to sit right here. I mean, just gosh, tanks set up right here. Oh, major facepalm moment, especially if you don't have a strong enough force. Whereas back here, it's a little bit easier to defend. You still have to deal with things such as drops or someone breaking down these rocks, but this position is far more difficult to defend in the early stage of the game, especially with a quick 3rd. Alright, you can see right now IdrA is just droning up. A metabolic boost now just started. We'll also be starting to work on that creep spread. He's got already some down here at the natural. We'll be connecting that main to that natural expansion shortly with that as well. Back over here for PuMa, it looks like it will be a Hellion opening. And going straight into a starport as well, actually immediately with the Viking to get some anti-overlord action going on. And a little bit of supply block there momentarily for PuMa. That is very uncharacteristic of him. You know, PuMa's a very solid player, as is IdrA. And I just don't expect that from him. But whatever, it happened. Alright, Zerglings continue to work down these rocks. Hellions will now be preventing any more creep spread, or at least trying to. Queen's going to make that a little difficult, though, as one Queen isn't enough to actually deter these Hellions, at least while still on that creep. So they're forced to push back there to the center of the map. Overlord will be moving on over around here and preparing to push on in for secondary scouting. Now, we already got one Viking in play. Not sure if, yeah, he hasn't found any Overlords yet. He's just kind of dancing around. Again, we've got this over. Ooh, that is a very nice hiding spot there. That's as far left as I can go. Very, very nice hiding spot there for IdrA with that Overlord. This one could be in danger, though, as the Viking tries to make his way across. Yeah, that Overlord's a goner. Take a look at that attack path there. Viking will be taking that out shortly. A couple more Vikings joining the fun down here. Queen's going to be forced back. We got 2 spines down, a couple of Zerglings, 14 in place, 6 more about to pop. And there's that third getting dropped. In addition to that, we have got the Spire coming out. Where is it, though? Where is it? Spire is right down here for IdrA, so IdrA working his way up into those Mutalisks. So we're going Spieling, Baneling here in the early stage of the game. Viking with the 1 kill. That poor scouting Overlord gets taken out. That's actually kind of rough there for IdrA because he was kind of relying on that for production building scouting. That's all he really has. He's not going to be able to get that Overlord all the way across here safely to check these production buildings. That's actually really unfortunate for IdrA. He's going to have to work something else out. It's probably going to be the Mutalisks to end up scouting. I don't expect him to. He could try to get an Overseer out, and yep, that's it. So Overseer is coming out, and that's what he will be using to try to scout out before those Mutas make it into play. He just wants to take a look. Now, taking a look over here, we can see PuMa actually, ooh, look at this, going bio heavy. Lots and lots of Marines. We got a couple Medivacs here as well. PuMa is preparing to push into a third. IdrA's got his third just about done, preparing to move into a fourth, but he's going to deal with this push first, as we're going to see Marine Hellion push move out, and Stimpack just about finished. So we'll be Stim Marines, no combat shield, but he also has those Hellions here to assist. And this could be a problem right now. And actually, in response to seeing this this heavy push here, he spotted the Rax Heavy Army with that Overseer. He's coming out with that Baneling Nest right away, but the push is already here, knocking down that first spine. The second spine's about to get taken out. Stimmed up Marines, very dangerous, and he's coming out with massive Zerglings. 32 Zerglings about to pop. He is concerned about this push, pushing forward with everything he's got, getting a full surround here, and more Spielings coming out, more and more Spielings. 10 Mutas also about to come out. Very nice, though. He has prevented this drop from doing too much damage. And those Mutas might be able to take out those Medivacs. Now, we're probably going to see PuMa try to hit these expansions here and try to kind of spread IdrA out. But again, with those Spielings plus those Mutas, he'll be able to mop this up. Spielings protecting the high yield. He's going to have to deal with this over here. Where are the Mutas? Mutas need to clump up and take out those Medivacs while the Spielings take out the bio. We're going to see more Marines pushing on over in this direction. And here we go. Finally responding here. IdrA's already taken some damage to this hatch. There go the Spielings and the Mutas as well, and this is an unwinnable situation for PuMa. He's forced to lift off for fear of losing the bio to the Spielings, and then the Mutas take out the Medivacs. And one Medivac gets dropped. That one just barely makes it alive. It was a very precarious situation. Luckily, though, PuMa had some Marines on the ground to defend the Medivac as he was dropping the rest of the Marines. And there you go. So, IdrA, what are you doing, buddy? Well, we got an Overseer just kind of chilling out, chillaxing over here. Another Overlord pushing across again. Probably will be used for scouting at some point, as that Overseer will, of course, eventually be pushed out of the base. 1-1 upgrades coming out here for PuMa, and now spotting that bio heavy. That was obviously what forced IdrA to come out with this Baneling Nest, because he's going to need those Banelings to more effectively deal with those Marine heavy forces that we're going to be seeing from PuMa. Also coming out those Centrifugal Hooks, making them a little faster. Level 1 flyer attack upgrades. I really want to see this attack here with these Mutas. So see what he can do for damage. But here come the missile turrets. 2 in the main. And look at that look contaminate going down the factory, slowing up that tank production there. Should be seeing some turrets over here, at least one. I want to see about one more to defend against this Muta attack that is likely coming. The other thing, too, though, is just these small task forces of Marines plus a Medivac. Those stemmed up Marines, they do so much damage to these Mutas, and unless IdrA gets some massive Muta numbers, this aggression shouldn't be doing too much damage. He's going to go straight for this. Should be expecting, yep, there's the stem. Here come the Marines, and then IdrA's forced back. It's so bizarre to see such a low amount of Marines be completely threatening to, I mean, this is so many Mutas, all right. He's got 14 mutas in play. That's 1,400 Vespene worth of units. And they're like, oh, look, a little shit task force of Marines is enough to scare all these mutas back. It's just kind of funny is all there really is to say about it. But those muta numbers are climbing. 8 more about to pop. He's got 14 in play already. What is that? As, of course, going to be 24 mutalisks that he will be sitting on. And that is quite an imposing number, even for Marines. He needs definitely more than 8 Marines to deal with that. Oh, wow. What am I doing? 14 plus 6, that's 22. Why am I so bad at math? Okay, so PuMa now coming out over here with the high yield expansion, 2 turrets to defend that. However, this is way too many mutas for just 2 turrets. A third one finishing, though. He's going to clump up, try to do what he can against those. We got a couple more mutas also moving across here, and yeah, this is going to be a bit of damage here, forced to stim up those Marines and pull back. We got drop going on over here. Now that gets taken care of pretty quickly. We'll take a look at how many workers he did end up killing. That medevac is in a little bit of trouble. He should be losing these without question, as those muta forces will be pushing back. And he does have another Marine over here. No other drops going on. Actually, here comes a drop over here as well from PuMa. And IdrA doesn't really have any counter-aggression, any response at all. He's going to be taking out this medevac, but again, here comes that drop. Now let's take a look here. 10 workers killed for IdrA, only 5 for PuMa. So PuMa really hasn't killed off a ton of workers. Got a couple Speedlings moving now, a couple of Banelings as well, and that's a huge threat. At the same time, some Marines pushing out across the center of the map. IdrA's got a ton of Overlords, Speedlings, and some Banelings coming out over there as well. So again, PuMa just trying to drop and be proactive here with this aggression. He's going to be losing this medevac and trying to drop this Marines to do some extra damage before he loses those forces. And here we go, PuMa redropping over here. Still got the Marines over here as well. Taking a look back in the main, we're going to see some spines get dropped down. Now again, even though that drop didn't do too much damage, he did weaken up that spawning pool. And the reason that's important to note is because in the future, with secondary drops, that spawning pool is all of a sudden much easier for stimmed up Marines to take out. Here comes that muta counter aggression. Those stimmed up Marines plus those 3 turrets right there in a line will be forcing those back though. And again, this constant drop aggression, Speedlings coming down, and this is the combination that makes these drops difficult. You see those ground forces in the Speedlings and Banelings, and then just a couple of mutas. And when they push at the same time, it's really a no-win situation for the drop, because if you stay on the ground, you lose to the Speedlings and Banelings. If you pick up, you lose everything inside, plus the medevac to those mutas. And that's the idea as a Zerg player. That's a good way to be able to defend against it. The other type of defense you see too is infestors. Infestors can be a good way to defend with fungal growths plus infested terrans to take out the medevacs. But obviously, as we can see, IdrA really isn't going that route. He doesn't have any infestors in play. He does have hive tech coming on through though. A couple of Speedlings and Banelings is actually all of a sudden IdrA is making a strong aggressive posture here. Now, there's just been a little back and forth. There isn't really any clear winner at the moment. I can't say anyone's superiorly ahead in a stronger position than the other person. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Here we go. Muta's moving out across the map. We got a couple Speedlings checking for expos over here. We'll be going straight for those rocks and trying to hit this over here. And PuMa does plan to expand over there, as we can see. Now, Muta's in the main. This is actually into a bit of damage. Stimmed up Marines quite a far ways away. And PuMa not even responding to this. He's just going to be pushing out for a counterattack. Now with this creep spread, IdrA sees it coming. So let's see him set up his forces. He will shortly be forced to pull back with those mutas, as he is needing to defend this attack that is coming. Tanks sieging up. Now the idea here is PuMa needs to defend those tanks against those mutas. And here comes Speedlings and Banelings. Get in that false around. Mutas move from another angle. Unfortunately, a little clumped up, taking a bit of splash damage. But IdrA has enough to mop up the forces here of PuMa. And he did snipe down that expansion, but still, PuMa lost everything there, absolutely everything. Those Speedlings are going to be delaying this expansion over here, and IdrA just dropping that hatchery right away. So yes, he took out the hatchery, and that is all well and good, but it looks like PuMa did lose absolutely everything. He's got no other drops right now. He's dealing with these Speedlings over here as well. Will be forced down with a few Marines, and we should be seeing some muta counter aggression right now. There are so many mutas in play. This is ridiculous. One about to pop 35. He'll be having 36 mutalisks in a moment. That is just absurd amounts of mutas here for IdrA, and let's see him take advantage of that. He needs to be hitting some production buildings. Now he's going to have to contend with those Marines, but you know what? 36 mutalisks, they can deal with that amount of Marines. Here comes some Speedlings forcing the liftoff here for PuMa, and all of a sudden PuMa starting to feel that suffocating feeling of having a hard time expanding as IdrA tries to just hit him from all over the place. And again, with Combat Shield, still really scary. Now he taking out the medevac, forcing the burning of that deep one. I'm not sure that is going to see a repair. It doesn't look like PuMa is even bothering, as we're going to see that Depot get taken out and see you later. Spielings there ended up sacrificing himself, but again, the whole point was to try to delay this expansion. Muta's moving back in, and he's got enough this time. Marine's going to try to do what they can, but we're going to have to see these Thors pull down to actually effectively deal with this, and he took out one and the second engineering bay, and that is gigantic there for IdrA, because right now PuMa is only 2-2, and he really delayed that 3-3 upgrade. Oh, clumped up Mutalisk against a Thor. That was really bad for IdrA. IdrA just lost a ton of Mutalisk. He's down to just 13 Mutas. They're about even in terms of resources lost. Take a look at the number of workers killed. IdrA had a superior advantage right now, 28 workers killed, and the income thing is going to be a major headache here, as PuMa's really, really behind right now in terms of income. We got another drop taking place over here. Again, trying to do what he can. Now we've got those crackling upgrades in the adrenal glands coming out. We're going to see those Mutas move down with the Speedlings, and exactly that combination that makes it impossible for that drop to be effective. Here comes a big push here from PuMa. PuMa's got a good opportunity, a lot of damage. Speedling counterattack, tearing through the front of the natural expansion here. They're going to be walking right into the main in a moment. It's time for a base trade, my friend. PuMa taking out this expansion without question. He should be able to shell out this expansion over here too. As long as he gets vision, he'll be able to destroy that line. And the Speedlings have been taken out here, so IdrA, now his counter aggression isn't doing much damage. And how is he going to deal with this? Lost one expansion. The slow methodical push will be happening here for PuMa. Now we get some infested in play. 20 Speedlings again. Realize those are cracklings. They got some insane upgrades. They're 2-2. Just so they got to get the level 3 melee attacks, but they also got those adrenal glands, which are huge. Muta's moving into the main. Here comes that tank push right now. Shelling out on that high yield as expected. That is unreal. So much splash damage there. Muta's allowing those Speedlings now to get through. And IdrA inside of the main with these cracklings, and they're just going to go to town. They're just about finished that upgrade. We got a bunch of infestors over here as well. Now they don't have the neural parasite upgrade. Neural parasite is not an option for them, but fungal growth plus infested Terrans can help a lot as well. And look at this, even IdrA expanding onto PuMa's half of the map, and this is looking pretty one-sided right now as IdrA destroys all of the production buildings inside of the main base. PuMa forced, he's got no production going on at all. He is forced all the way back. It's just so unreal. These cracklings plus those Mutalisks do so much damage so quickly here to the forces of PuMa. PuMa just losing everything. And very shortly we should be seeing the GG. PuMa really doesn't stand a chance. He just caught a bunch of those Mutas out of position with those stemmed up Marines. And yes, he was able to do a lot of damage, but the thing is, PuMa's got no production going on right now. Now, yes, this expansion is down, and this expansion is down, but at least IdrA still has all that tech, and at least he's still got something going on. He's still got some mining going on, at least shortly, once these get up. Now, we still got mining over here, but here comes the push right now. PuMa trying to defend that last position. Speedlings need to be careful, though. Ooh, nice tank line. Look at all these infestors here, though, for IdrA. The game's not over yet. I actually didn't realize that this expansion got dropped. I knew the high yield got taken out, and I knew this one got taken out, but I didn't realize that that expansion right over here was no longer in action. So what we're looking at right now is 2 base Terran over here, or maybe like 1.5 base. But PuMa, all of his forces are over here, so now he's forced in just this corner, and IdrA's got full map control, and now he's got this base up and running, gonna get that saturated. These Speedlings taking out that. The biggest problem though is that PuMa's got no production, and IdrA, he's still got production going on. He still has production going on, so he is definitely down but not out. And the other thing too is that does he have Brew Lords yet? No, not yet, but he could have them very soon as he's got some Corruptors, and here come the Brew Lords, and that is definitely something that PuMa will not be able to deal with. PuMa finally realizing that IdrA had this expansion, so IdrA only briefly mining from there. Now he still has this one up. Was able to take out some resources from over here. We still got all these infestors, all these Speedlings over here for IdrA. Still got that tank kind of chilling over here. Is there anything else going on here? No, not. We have a medevac moving, but that's not doing much. Actually, he's trying to save that tank, I believe. Moving across the map, trying to save the tank. And it looks like one Marine moving up, finally scouting out this as well. So we should be seeing PuMa move on down to try to do something about that. But the thing is, once those Brew Lords come into play, that's going to be it for PuMa. Now, PuMa's only response to Brew Lords right now are Thors, which are really bad against Brew Lords, and Marines. The problem is that those Marines are going to meet some fungal growth action, and that's going to be a big headache for him. There we go. Looks like the medevac is saving that one siege tank over there. And IdrA, biggest thing though right now is that IdrA's got map control. He's got a huge tech advantage as well. And again, once more, the production is just lackluster over here for PuMa. He's going to be trying to get up this expansion finally being able to work his way over here as this creep is slowly receding. He has managed to take out this, and will be attempting a drop over inside of the main. Now, he could do some damage with that. It looks like, though, IdrA is expecting that. Will be pulling back here with the bulk of his forces. Actually, even pulling back with those Brood Lords. I really feel like once those Brood Lords engage, that we should just be seeing a straight-up GG from PuMa. PuMa should realize that he can't deal with Brood Lords, not at all. Especially with all those Infestors. That's the biggest thing. It's not just the Brood Lords plus those Infestors. Now, we will be seeing PuMa attempt an attack here. Let's see what happens, though. 82 army supply for IdrA, 67 for PuMa. Tanks getting caught, unsieged. Will be taken out very quickly. Continue up this push. Now, we got these stimmed up Marines over here doing some damage. Don't think they'll take that out, though. We got still one spine plus those two Speedlings. Here come all the Speedlings and Banelings pushing up against this force here. And only just a few Marines left, and look at those Infestors bravely going where no Infestor has gone before. Straight up into the face of those Marines, as he knows he's sitting pretty right now. Sitting pretty indeed. That is still alive. The rest of those forces were taken out, and IdrA is continuing up this push here, and there it is from PuMa. PuMa spotting those Brood Lords and realizing that is it. That is the game. That is it, guys. Game number 3 here between IdrA and PuMa. Alright, guys, that is it. Game number 3 here between IdrA and PuMa, going to IdrA as he takes the series 2-1. Unfortunately, in the later stage of the game, IdrA just had a huge advantage. He took out pretty much all of the production of PuMa, and without his production facilities, he was not able to keep up with what IdrA had. The biggest thing, too, is IdrA also had a huge tech advantage, being able to have access to those Brood Lords as well as those Infestors, and upon spotting those Infestors, PuMa called the GG. Alright, guys, that is it here for game number 3. Thank you so much for watching this series. Hopefully you did enjoy it. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe, keep watching, and keep owning.